Hi guys, it's Jennifer Don Gabiola, and welcome back to my video series called 20 Looks and Outlooks for 2020. I hope you're enjoying my series so far, and just wanted to remind you that the purpose of this video series is really to help you feel really aligned from the inside out so you can really thrive in your life and business in 2020 and beyond. Because ultimately my intention is really to help you feel that you can master your vibe and really give yourself permission to take up space so you can really be authentically you. Because when you're fully you, that's really when your life and business can take off, because that's no one can be you or do you. So that's the thing that's going to set you apart. So what I wanted to start off with was, before I share look 2, which is for today's video, I did want to share this dream that I had literally last night. I woke up remembering the dream, but I felt like it was relevant to what we're talking about. So in my dream, I was following this woman, this leader that I follow on social media, and she happened to be in my dream. And I remember we were walking on this like grassy like terrain, like it was kind of near a freeway, and I was following her, and my mom and my grandmother were behind me, and we were walking following this lady, and she was gonna go up this like this thing she climbed on, and she was like basically like follow me. And so I started climbing up, and I looked down, and I was holding a pen, and I dropped the pen, and I looked down, and my mom and my grandmother were down below, and my grandmother picked up the pen and gave it back to my mom, and gave it back to me. And I woke up just remembering that part of the dream, and I was thinking about that more, and I just think it's really incredible how God works. I really feel like I mentioned in my last video, I feel like how I'm being called to serve, especially now. It feels like I'm continuing on with my family's legacy. I'm playing my part, especially in this line of really strong women with my mom and my grandmother. And I feel like I'm playing a part in this, in my ancestral line, to really use my voice to make an impact. And what's really interesting about this dream is the pen. I looked up what pen signifies, and a pen represents self-expression and communication, which is all about like my passion, right? Helping other introverted leaders own their quiet voice and their fierce power to build brands that make a big impact. So it's like, I don't know, it just feels like everything is somehow synchronistically coming together in a really beautiful way. And I feel like that dream was like my grandmother already passed away, and I feel like it was like a nudge, a divine nudge that like keep going, keep doing your part. And like it's like I feel my ancestors like cheering me on. So it's really, really beautiful. And I wanted to share that story to help encourage you that life is supporting you, whether or not you fully believe it or not. Life is always supporting you, because a force greater than yourself loves you. And I'm going to go deeper into this for today's outlook. But yeah, I just felt like that memory, that dream was really relevant. And I wanted to share that, to share some encouraging words today. Okay, so for look 2. So like I mentioned, each of the looks, I'm naming it, putting a name, just so it has, each look outfit has its own identity. And this, what I'm wearing today, it's called Nikki. And Nikki is actually the brand of this vintage dress. And so let me show you, let me just back up so you can see the whole dress. Do you see it goes a little past my knee. So it's a vintage dress, and the color is like magenta. But I love like this sort of flame sequin detail. I thought it was really, really cool. And, you know, it has this fire like sort of element, and which, you know, uh, speaks to the topic I want to talk about for Outlook too, is that, and actually before I go into it, this whole fire element, I was already planning to wear this, but what's interesting in my prayer time, my morning routine, my morning practice is I pray and I ask for divine guidance on what I'm meant to know today and how I'm meant to serve. And I've been using these cards, and what's really interesting is the card I pulled today was Dragon, and that's it talks about this, the inner flame and this sacred intelligence that's within you, within all of us, and that when you really allow that flame to like be activated in you, that you're able to see the beauty of life, especially in the hard times and in the good times. You're able to see the beauty in all of it, right? So I wanted to really encourage you to really, for this outlook I wanted to share, is that what I'm going to talk about for today is to give you some tips on how to keep that flame, that inner fire, that passion alive, especially if you have a business. Because for those of you that are entrepreneurs, you know that it's up and down. And so you know in your gut what you feel called to do. There's something inside you that's like this burning desire that will not go away, right? So I felt like this was really significant because it has this flame, this fire, it's beautiful glitter. It's just this sense inside you that will never go away. It's in your soul. So what I wanted to share are some, based on my experience being an entrepreneur for 10 years, what I've learned to keep that flame alive, because doing anything long term, it's going to be up and down. So the thing has been the game changing element for me to keep my that fire going, that passion going, is establishing a really strong and sustainable connection and relationship with myself. And that what that means specifically is really allowing myself to be kind and loving and compassionate. It's like this gentleness and this tenderness. It's really moving away from this sort of masculine way of working and pushing, and this more towards this feminine way of allowing yourself to receive yourself, allowing yourself to acknowledge yourself. And I was talking to a girlfriend the other day that this is the glue. This is the thing. You can go from goal to goal to goal, but what really matters is like how are you talking to yourself? How are you supporting yourself in between those goals? That's going to determine the level, not just the level of your success, but the quality of your success, your self-fulfillment, you know? So it was like, just to give you some backstory for me, is that most of my life I really focused on working in this sort of masculine way, pushing, proving, because it was based on this old story, right? That I had to constantly prove myself. I had to constantly prove myself through my work because I didn't have really a strong sense of self outside of my performance. And so it was only until I started on my entrepreneurial journey that I realized I had to find a different way, or else I would be burnt out, and it would just be, it was not sustainable. It was very clear to me. So it wasn't until the past few years where I really started to meet people who would really support me to be more kind and loving and gentle and tender and soft with myself. And like I mentioned in the last video, softness is not a weakness. When you can be kind and loving and gentle with yourself, that's really what's going to sustain you and give you life. And what we have to do is like let go of this old sort of bully mentality. Like I realized the patterns, the old stories that I was trying to let go of for a long time was this bully. Like I would constantly criticize myself and um, always see like what I did was never good enough, or the self-doubt would come in. It was like this bully, and then there's this also this defeatist. This is like the bully would like push me and try to like motivate me by like force, push, 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 prove, prove, prove. And the defeatist is almost like, oh, what's the point? You know, it's not going to work out. It's this constant self-sabotage, right? And so it was only until I had this willingness within me to surrender and allow myself to say, this is not working. So what can I do? What new story can I tell? And for me, I realized that being loving and kind and tender and seeing all of those, the bully and the defeatist, seeing those as opportunities for me to give myself more love. Those parts of me that that were so wounded, they just wanted more love. And so that sounds simple, but it's also profound. And that's why I felt moved to wear this today, is because that's the fire. That's the fire that we have to constantly, you know, make sure that fire never goes out, because that fire is not based on ego. You know, that fire, that desire in you to make a difference, to make an impact with your destiny, your calling, that will never go out, because it's not based on your ego. Your ego is the one that wants to push you and try to think that your value is based on your performance or anything outside of you, really. The truth is, who you are and what you're meant to do here is already yours. I shared a post on that. That's like something that cannot be taken away from you. It's already yours. And so I just really want today for this video, for look to and outlook to, is inspire you to, or remember that that fire within you is it is a sacred intelligence. If you get really still, especially if you're an introvert, you need regular quiet time. Get really still and like allow yourself to really feel into what it is your next right step. Like, how can you move more? What's an aligned action step that you can do to move forward in your goals in a way that feels really deliberate, right? This turtle way I always talk about. You don't have to rush, just allow yourself to give yourself space to just feel into that. And in between all of your goals, I can't stress this enough, to really pour into your spirit that loving, kind, tender gentleness. Because at the end of the day, there's the only thing that you take away from this video, is to know that you're doing the very best that you can with what you know right now. And tomorrow you're going to learn more, and the next day you're going to learn more. But to constantly focus on the gap of where you not are versus where you actually are, and celebrating that and then building on that, that's the game changer. That's how your flame, your fire is going to continue to grow and really ignite to a place where your passion, your calling will carry you. And I feel like this process with this 20 looks and outlook series, it feels like a process, a divinely guided idea where I feel like God is carrying me to move in this way, to serve in this way that's uniquely made for me. So I hope this is helpful. I really encourage you to give yourself credit, acknowledge where you are, and make that a regular practice to really do less of the pushing, more of the allowing, and be kind and loving and gentle and tender with you. Because really, whatever you believe in, God, the universe, spirit, there is a force greater than you that loves you more than beyond your understanding. And so if you can allow yourself to believe that every day, then you can relax a little bit and trust in the natural flow of life, because you are being carried. You are being carried and you're being taken care of. So I hope this encourages you today. And I did want to share, as far as with the topic I shared today, if this really resonates with you on helping you get more clear and how you can move towards like your goals, but in a way that feels sustainable to your spirit and it feels really aligned with what you feel called to do. If you would like to go deeper and get some help around that with your goals to really grow your business and thrive in 2020, I invite you to schedule a complimentary discovery call with me. You can send me a private message or email me at info@dawningsoul.com. And if you're interested in this number, this vintage number, it's called Nikki, and I'm going to put in the comments below, I'll share all the details, the sizing and the price. But again, if you're interested in this, the first person who types sold in the comments and sends me a private message, and then you can send your payment via PayPal, then you'll be the owner of this piece. So that's it. I hope my first few videos in my 20 looks and outlooks video series has been inspiring for you. That's my hope and prayer, that it really helps ignite something in you creatively, that spark to help you really, again, feel really deeply aligned with who you are from the inside out, so you can really show up in your life in 2020 and really thrive. Okay, guys, I'll talk with you next week.